physics, then at the very easily we could see a Nidalee ban.
I was wrong. So on red side this time round. So Newbee will get the second 2 picks heading into this match. LG will get the first pick heading into the game.
Hashtag don't trust fish.
Hashtag do not trust fish ever. Second time in a night.
That's fair. I didn't know it either.
I
I didn't know it either. I can't put it all on you, buddy.
Well, we'll see the bans fly out between these two teams. First up, it's the Vladimir as well as the Poppy, and Twisted Fate being taken away by LGD. Newbee decided to want to ban out Cogmore, Rumble, as well as Nah. They do not want Murray to get their hands on that champion.
So what I was about to say was that if Newbee's on purple side, this is going to work out really well for them because they could have just banned out the Kazakhs last ban. That would have been worked out very well because just challenge LGD. Say, what other pick do you have to go up against the Nidalee pick? You can't play Nidalee yourselves. So if you have another pick, that's great. But they're fairly certain that you don't.
Instead, LGD do exactly what they did in game number 1, which is look to try and first pick Imp's AD carry of choice, which should be Sivir, and they do lock that one in.
Yeah, so right now LGD is back to comfort zone. They're on blue side. They do pick up that Sivir. And now they're just going and asking LGD, Newbee, what do you have to offer? Are they going to go for the exact same composition? Generally, when Swift has the Nidalee, he'll just go straight towards it. That's his go-to pick if it's not banned. So the fact that it's available, but not really a safe pick for him, question is, does he want to go somewhere else?
Let's see what he decides to do. Newbee still looking for their first 2 picks. The Nah was taken away this time round, so he does not have to counter pick it for himself. Although it did work out pretty well in game number 1. Dade's Twisted Fate was taken away. LGD do not want to deal with that champion again. And Poppy was banned now. A champion we've seen play a lot more recently. We saw it a lot in that last set between Saint and OMG. But Newbee looking to pick up 2 very big champion picks that we see picked up together time and time again. Right as I say that, you know, one of them disappears. Don't trust fish.
They don't need to. They don't need to pick out that jungle pick at this point. So it works out well for them that they are getting that Shen. But the Braum is a great pickup just the same because it really does. 8 denies it from LGD's hand. Primarily, you pick up Braum yourself. Moore has had a lot of success in on game 1. So then you, solidify a fairly good lane for yourself, but at the same time, hide your jungle pick.
It's a pick that LGD brought back. Not LGD, sorry. EDG brought back in favor as one of the first picks. They very commonly took it on blue side whenever they could and banned it on red side whenever they were available to do so. And he's going to be returning for more in the bottom lane. Had a good performance on the champion recently. On the flip side, LGD, they lock in Trundle as well as Karma. 2 flex picks for not only the top lane and mid lane, but also the bottom lane as supports.
Yeah, so we're going straight back at it. LGD is going straight towards their comfort pick here. Once again, hiding their jungle pick because they know that if you go for that Nidalee once again, they will spring that trap fairly happily. As it seems like Newbee might actually decide against it. Might look towards perhaps taking the Kazakhs away.
Possibly, and you know, it is one of Intruder's most signature champions. Teams like to ban it out against LGD because they don't want Intruder to play it. And there's a possibility for Swift to pick it up and try and take it to Summoner's Rift. He has played a game of Kazakhs before, so he's not unfamiliar with the champion. For now, they're happy to lock in Jin, a champion he is very comfortable with and has a lot of games on. They do not lock into Kazakhs. Instead, they swap over for Talia as their 4th pick heading into this game, leaving their jungle pick for last.
To me, that's interesting. A little bit surprising. They do have the Shen pick. They can go towards the Kazakhs. There has to be a reason. If we do see a Kazakhs pick coming out of LGD, we might very well see a Hecarim counter because we do have a Shen just looming in the top in the first rotation. So yeah, having a jungle first pick last rotation could be a very interesting thing to take on it. But now that we're looking at these picks coming out of Newbee, we see the Talia pick really good in shoving into anyone, and honestly, that she's going up against. So Talia into Karma works fairly well for the Talia. And on top of that, you have the Jin all the same. We're seeing a good amount of shove and poke.
LGD do lock in the Kazakhs. It was not taken away for Swift by Newbee. So Intruder will get a repeat performance on the champion. And we're going to get a Renekton up in the top lane for Marin as well. Trundle will be heading down as a support this game. Karma will be heading back into the mid lane. Renekton did get a very slight buff, and it has been Marin's signature champion for some time.
I would think of it as a pretty good buff. The extra fury is always very nice on him. And he's always received small incremental buffs to him as we went along. There was a slight buff to his HP on his ulti a few patches back. So the fact that we're now once again seeing Marin on the Renekton, it's great. So he's going to be able to bully that matchup. He knows he's going up against the Shen, and he knows that the rest of the picks that he's seeing in the Jhin and in the Talia, he's going to be going wild on them. But of course, we saw that Kha'Zix pick. That means that the Hecarim Shen combination will honestly be able to trample him.
Newbee could possibly lock that in as their final pick. They saved their jungle pick for last for Swift. And it will be the Hecarim, something we saw to start off this draft. They swapped it over for a Braum instead. We will have the Shen Hecarim. Lots of global power coming out from Newbee as well. Lots of long-range power. And you've got Stand United, you've got the Talia Weaver's Wall, you have the Curtain Call from Jhin. Newbee looking to try and fight from as far away as they possibly can, whereas LGD want you to be as close as you possibly can in coming into this game.
Yeah, LGD's bottom lane has to be shivering because this amount of dive pressure coming out of Newbee is fantastic. Talia will always have the shove in her lane. She'll always be able to look bottom lane and look for any pick that she wants. With Jhin ulti, with Braum able to look to converge all the same, Shen always in your back pocket with Hecarim, that is incredibly scary. LGD needs to formulate a plan pre-game and once the game starts as to how to stop that.
But again, we see LGD on a lot of comfort champions. PYL picking up another Trundle game here. In back on Sivir, Wayless back on his Karma, Intrude on Kha'Zix and Renekton for Marin. They looked comfortable in game number 2 and looking to try to do the same thing in game number 3 as we head onto Summoner's Rift for the third match between LGD and Newbee. We're on to Summoner's Rift for game number 3 between LGD and Newbee. After a dominant and clinical performance from LGD in game number 2, they tie the series back up. And it's a best of 5 here to try and fight for the right to stay in the LPL for Spring Split 2017. And like we said, second game, LGD looked really strong on their comfort champs they picked up. And there's another big comfort champ coming up from LGD. Marin's going to be picking up Renekton in the top lane here, Raz.
Yeah, I love how we went into this game with a nice pose from Marin because, yeah, he's picking up the fervor. Marin going back to that Renekton, a pick that honestly was kind of killed by lane swaps. Now that we're in a position in which lane swaps are far gone, it seems. Still waiting on something to show us that it still exists. Waiting for it. But no, right now it looks like we're going to be seeing some standard lanes. And Renekton up against Shen, he's going to be able to bully that. And especially since he knows that he's going up against squishies in Talia and Jhin, a lot of ability to just dive onto them.
We even have V picking up the triple rejuvenation bead for Shen up at the top side of the map. See a lot of Shens do this recently, try and get lots of extra health regeneration with the extra potion to boot.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because Shen did receive the nerfs to his HP regen. So we're just now seeing the nonsense build coming out of it.
Oh, he gets it.
He only gets one.
Yeah, it's one. You know, it's better than none, Rats.
Yeah, that's true.
We normally see Karmas and Talia start at the Raptor camp and try and pick up, you know, the early 3 minions, get the level 2 advantage in their own lanes. Both the bottom lane AD carries and support will start at a camp at level 1 as well, looking for the level 2 spike. As Swift wants to make an early attempt in towards this mid lane against Wayless. He's going to be ghosting on for it. Knocks him back, but a good flash from Wayless gets him to safety.
Yeah, it was a great flash from him. Gets chunked only a little bit, but now that he does not have flash, he does have to worry about a repeat gank. Now, of course, Hecarim did only do a 1 buff start to be able to go for that. So he has a little bit of time of safety. He knows that Hecarim is going to be walking towards his blue buff, so that his pathing should be well telegraphed.
Bottom side of the map, we have Happy and More and Jin and Brom, the Connect 4 lane, up against the Sivir and Trundle. So far pushing in quite nicely and staying relatively even. Swift heads straight towards his blue buff after the level 2 gank in the mid lane and takes that down for himself. Marin on the top side of the map on this Renekton, shoving in V nice and early. A very dominant champion and always has been, even when he's not in the meta.
Yeah, so definitely if you go into the solo queue games, you definitely know the strength of Renekton. He can always get a lead in his lane. Problem is whether he could translate that to the rest of the map.
And it's Marin's first game on Renekton this split. He played a couple last split, but it's his first time around playing it here as Intruder. Gonna take that for himself. Jumps on top of Swift, gets a lot of damage down. Surprised he didn't stick around a little bit longer to try and get the kill onto him. No Ghost available for Swift just then.
Yeah, he knew he didn't have the man with him. Mr. Wayless didn't want to come in because he was getting shoved in, and that's the difference here. We talked about the matchup, and Dade being able to constantly shove in is helping him out.
Him takes a turret shot to the face, but gets a good trade on towards Happy in this bottom lane. Chugging a potion, trying to keep himself healthy as he slowly pushes this wave out. Intruder doing exactly what his name suggests as he moves in towards the jungle of Swift and locks him down. Marin going to get his stun cancelled by the dodge field coming out from V. Intruder's looking for a dive. V incredibly low. He jumps in, going to be able to get a lot of damage down, but misses the W. Has to flash away. Ooh. Lives with less than 10 health, but does get the flash away from V on the top side of the map.
That would have been the most tilting experience, but he didn't die. So you know what? That works out. The fact that he wasn't able to land his W is a bit depressing.
V got a taunt under the turret, gets first blood, outplays Marin. Even with the pressure coming out from Intruder on the top side of the map, V puts on a performance up here.
I mean, Marin set it up. He set up that gank, and it didn't work out. He couldn't get the dive under tower, couldn't get the extra W, and so now we have a position where Renekton's behind.
They're jumping on top of Wayless, won't be able to knock him back. Immediately there's a teleport into the mid lane. Swift takes 2 turret shots as well as the lockdown from Wayless. Marin flashes on top of the Hecarim to big old return kill with his teleport. Dade has to be careful, he's out of mana. Wayless just getting auto attack after auto attack onto the Talia. As Thunderlords will come out based on those auto attacks from Dade. He's being a little bit cheeky here, Wayless, as he's out of mana as well.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, that was a great response. Dying to a tilting top lane fight, but end up to just TP right back in, get a kill right back on his name. So that works out well for him.
Unfortunately, he won't have the back advantage because V was able to stay a bit longer and pick up the Barmy. Cinder still has his teleport, and these top laners are approaching level 6, so Stand United will be up and available for Shen shortly too. And Intruder doing what he does best, heads straight in towards Swift's jungle and takes away even more camps, denying as many resources from this Hecarim as possible.
Yeah, you have to, at this point, keep track of the Hecarim, because if V is in this good of a position, where he, as you said, he does have the TP advantage, and he's nearing that level 6 mark, anytime this bot lane shove could come in. And so you need to be able to keep track of where Swift is, because wherever Swift is, the play is.
Once again, taunts coming out from V. Marin gets his stun cancelled every single time. V takes no damage at all while he's in that dodge field. Is Marin really feeling the changes after the way dodge was slightly reworked recently?
Yeah, and honestly, this matchup, even though it's good for Renekton in theory, the problem is V does have a response. He's able to just build tanky, and every single time he looks for the trade, he goes for the taunt, that dodge, as you said, and so any response that Renekton has that isn't his Q is negated.
Well, it's actually getting knocked over the Weaver's wall by Swift, but we'll have Stand United to try and keep on chasing towards the Karma. V looking for a taunt. Wailer's trying to threaten a flash, doesn't have it up and available, so Newbee will get a pick in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Interesting, yeah, exactly. It probably wasn't going woohoo the moment Hecarim knocked him over that wall, but you know what? Still get the kill at the end of the day.
Marin even has to get the heck out of dodge there as he slices and dices over Harold's wall to get to the safety of his side of the map. Dade will do what he can to take down a pink ward, pace in the pixel rush towards the Baron Pit. So V is still split pushing up the top side of the map here with his Barmy Cinder just holding the wave nice, has 2 kills already.
Yeah, so we have a really difficult position because you pick the Renekton for the matchup and to do well early and have that pressure really translate later on, but it's not working out very well for him. Shen is able to just freeze up the lane under near his tower, and every single time Renekton walks in, he just goes for those trades.
But all the buffs, the small incremental buffs that Renekton has gotten recently, that one change to the way that blinds and dodge works in reaction to Renekton's W just means that he can't get the stun down and can't get the damage down while that dodge field is active, which was a big factor of how he used to win matches against Teemos and Jaxes in the top lane. And now it's really affecting him since Shen's rework, and he's just getting taunted time and time again and just can't do anything in return.
I mean, regardless of that, it feels like the trades will always come through in Shen's favor if he does get that initial taunt. So the taunt is the biggest point. Every single time he gets Marin gets taunted, the 3Q auto attacks coming out of Shen will mean quite a bit. So you do want the time to be able to respond to his fights, his engage. So it comes through his damage, honestly.
Marin is a Renekton, so he will be able to farm up against V in the top lane, but V will have that global map pressure with Stand United and with Teleport. We've already seen what he can do in this game. Not only has a solo kill for himself against Marin, but also helped Swift pick up the kill on towards Wayless in the mid lane. As Kha'Zix does hit level 6, evolves his Q there, so we're able to do extra damage with that one. Seismic Shove does not connect coming out from Dade, and that's half his health gone just for one enchanted Q coming out from Wayless.
Yeah, so that is going to perhaps force down Dade's back. Karma is a great champion in that she is always lane dominant. So even though Taliyah is able to shove her in, the trades will always be in Karma's favor.
Still, we're only 10 minutes into this game, and the gold is dead even between LGD and Newbee. In fact, it's LGD who are slightly ahead by a couple of hundred gold. But it's still 1-2 in terms of kills, with Newbee being the benefactors, mostly up on the top side of the map. V has picked up 2 of them for himself, has the Sunfire Cape to start this game off.
Yeah, the fact that LGD is behind, they do have 1 kill less. It just comes back to the laning phases here. Sivir is ahead, able to completely shove in and negate Happy's trading potential. He's always just able to force him under tower, always get the proper trades, and the same goes for Wayless here. So the lanes are just winning LGD out.
As you can see, Intruders looking to try and move towards the top side of the map. I was trying to wait in fog of war to see if he can collapse onto V, who was looking to take down the pink ward placed by Marin. But that's a very tanky Shen. Intruders already seen what can happen underneath a turret against one of them. Dade seems like it's the next target here, who is slowly pushing up against Wayless, letting this minion wave crash closer and closer towards his turret. There's the empowered E chasing off forward. Dade has to flash away as Intruder already got half his health down. Seismic Shove not going to connect even through to Stand United. LGD pick up a kill on towards the mid laner.
There we go. That's exactly what they wanted. The pink ward too, near just behind the enemy red buff, was able to allow Intruder at least a lot of knowledge, saying that, you know, they definitely do not have a ward here. He can look for this pick, look for this kill, and Dade just went right in for the bait.
Marin dodges out the taunt in the top side of the map, but V still being very threatening, has a ton of health as well. That's the good damage that comes out from his Q. Marin just gets the heck out of there, slices and dodges as much as he possibly can away from the Shen. Still sitting on 2 rejuvenation beads, so his health regen, although was touched in the last patch, will still be enough for him to survive in the top lane. On the hunt being used by Sivir there, wanted to avoid the lockdown from the Deadly Flourish that Happy was threatening with. And there is a Hecarim nearby. They don't spot that one out, but they have a suspicious feeling that Swift might want to pay a visit into the bottom lane. Kha'Zix is waiting in the wings, and they do have a pink water spot out if he potentially makes his way down, but they did see that Intruder was leaving that side of the jungle. Now they're waiting on Swift. They know he's there. They do get the red smite down. PYL is collapsing as the teleport deep into the red buff side of the map. Swift takes a lot of damage. Now Dade's stuck in between his Weaver's Wall and the base. Now V, he has to try and recall, but runs into Intruder and friends.
Ooh.
Imp gets a lot of damage down. There's no flash. Oh, there is a flash available for him, but Wayless will pick up the kill. LGD collapse on towards Newbee, and now they are the ones that are 2,000 gold in the lead and looking for the first dragon of the game.
Excellent collapse from them. They knew this play was coming through, and they were able to cancel it out perfectly. Had otherwise, they would have been put in a situation. Their lanes were fine. The only real worry was Marin. Marin's lane right now, he only had the Caulfield's Warhammer, and on top of that, the Merc Tread boots. He was going to get out-traded and forced out, and his laning phase would have actually been a lot difficult for him. So this play definitely helps him out. Now in a good position.
It was the Mountain Dragon that did get taken down by LGD. Not quite sure what's happening on Summoner's Rift here today, Raz, because we've had a lot of Infernal Drakes for once. Normally see tons of clouds and tons of oceans. It seems like every dragon wants to really fight here. LGD were looking to try and take away red buff, but Swift wakes his way towards it and smites it away, securing it for his team.
Even the map knows these games are pretty fiery. A lot of fire happening here.
Say the least, as there's more jumping on towards a minion, trying to get onto Imp. Does not get locked down by the deadly flourish. Now trying to return the favor on towards Mo, who takes a ton of damage. Connect 4 doesn't happen here for Happy, as he can't quite get the concussive blows down with his 4th shot. An Intruder still leaping through and farming up minions. We've seen this before, tough side. Every single time, Marin just gets taunted, dodge field goes down, stun does not connect.
Yeah, that's a very frustrating thing to go up against. Shen's of the world, not very happy with you.
As they're going for it again, Moore's very low, gets the exhaust down. This time Imp does get locked down. The Standing Knighter comes out on top of Moore just to try and chase him now. Wayless is moving into this lane. The 4th crit shot will connect, but they do lose their support at the same time. Happy gonna get locked down. Standing Knighter did get cancelled, I believe, by Marin, but Dade's down here as well. Imp tries to kite, gets knocked out of the deadly flourish, but is gonna get taken down here by Swift. And now it's Wayless who has to run for the hills. He's trying to kite back and forth, getting as much damage down as he can. But it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Newbee.
Yeah, they didn't have all the puzzle pieces together, and Wayless is in trouble.
But here comes Intruder. He's trying to get the flank off. Wayless does dodge the seismic shove. Intruder goes in. He's going to get 1 kill. Looking for the recess. He goes invisible. Finds Happy. Gets the kill down, but will get taken down by Dade.
But that's a great win for Intruder. Intruder just needs the extra push to snowball. But in the end of the day, Newbee are able to react. Newbee are in good position, and they shove out this lane.
So all in all, it's 4 for 3 here. They went in favor of Newbee, and they still have Shen split pushing on the top side of the map. Marin did cancel V's teleport. You can see V also used Flash to get away from whatever Marin was trying to do on the top side of the map, but was able to successfully push Marin out of lane, got some good damage onto the top lane turret. Here comes V, though, getting locked down by Wayless, who put a cheeky teleport in there. He will get taken down eventually, trying to give Marin the kill. He's chasing for it. Will be get the Q off. He calls the meek, even stuns them up to get the final kill.
Ah, see, now that's cute. That's nice. He was he roamed out. He's gonna lose minions, but he's playing like a true support coming out of the mid lane. Not only is he going for the Athenes of Unholy Grill to help out the Kazakhs, to help out the rest of his team, but he's giving Marin the kill here.
So it's 8-6 in terms of kills, still in favor of LGD, who are about 1,500 gold ahead in the lead. Not as dominant as game number 2, Raz, but still LGD looking a lot better than they did in game 1, to say the least.
Yeah, both teams right now are definitely... You can see the mind games happening in Champs.
They've got a Kank coming into the bottom lane, though. There's the Weaver's Wall trying to separate Imp. Dade's underneath the turret. Imp takes so much damage, gets taken down by Moore. Kurta Called is getting delivered into BYL, who gets knocked back straight into the front lines of this sniper. A double kill comes out for Newbee.
Yeah, great look. It's not done yet, though.
Intruder was looking for a fight with Swift. Does a lot of damage on towards the Hackrim, but can't quite keep up the constant DPS. Now just looking to try and defend this bottom lane outer turret. Turret does fall, though, in favor of LGD on the top side of the map. So first turret goal did go over towards Marin during that time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's tit for tat right now. Both teams are really fighting. And the Talia pick is coming through. It's really showing well. That was a great Weaver's Wall coming from Dade. Able to isolate the bottom lane. And that's what they wanted to do right from the very beginning. Finally able to achieve that very goal. And it's working out for Newbee.
Still, though, LGD somehow 2,000 gold in the lead, despite Newbee trying to be as proactive as possible in this bottom lane. Kills are tied up 8-8, but that single turret and most importantly, the first turret did fall in favor of LGD.
Yeah, it's that and the CS leads that we're seeing from Imp and Wayless. Specifically, Imp has been playing incredibly well in this entire series. Even in the loss, he's been playing really well. So he is a player that through and through, in the worst of times for LGD, in the best of times, does come through with a great play.
Very consistent player. Has been ever since he's joined LGD's roster. Constantly puts on a show on whatever AD carry decides to pick up. He's being targeted here in this match against Newbee, which is not too surprising. It's normally either Imp or Marin that gets singled out by enemy teams. This game seems like Imp is the one they want to take down constantly.
Yeah, Martin's getting a lot of safety, a lot of freedom to be able to do what he wants. No team sending a 4-man gank squad towards him.
He's nullified slightly by the Shen pick, but he's been making the best out of this worst situation. Did die only once, and that was the cheese, so to speak, from the taunt under the turret by V. He's still trying to go toe-to-toe here. No dodge field being put down by V just yet, so he does take a lot of damage in return, but the rest of LGD, their eyes are set on towards this red buff. Top lane has been pushed in by Marin, so they know that Shen can't join this fight, and they will be able to take a red buff away from Swift's jungle. Marin will dice away from the side stick shove that came out from Dade in the mid lane. Happy has to reload, but they're still going toe-to-toe here. There's the pillar coming out. Moore has to jump back towards the Jhin. Boomerang Blade will not connect. There's just been these two bottom laners trading back and forth constantly. Swift is looking for a gank, trying to inch closer and closer towards the bottom lane. And the thing that separates them from a gank is the ward that was just placed down. Imp now being jumped on. There's the flash forward for Moore. They're on top of Imp. Stand United comes in as well. V is able to join the fight, and Happy takes him down.
Karma came a little bit too late. In fact, he could be the victim just the same.
Wall comes out, has to be cancelled, but they do lock down Wayless. Already burnt his flash. Swift gets another kill. Immediately, PYL gets the heck out of there, and Newbee are still constantly trying to pressure this bottom lane.
There is no fear coming out of Newbee. They're a team that used to not look to press that button. They're a team that used to wait a little bit too long. But when they have the lead, they're going for it. And now they're looking to get this tower and this in another Infernal Dragon.
They're still 2,000 gold behind because mid lane turret is incredibly low as well. But Swift will be able to take this one down. So it's an Infernal Dragon for a Mountain Dragon, which LG were able to pick up early. And it seems like the next dragon that spawns could be another Infernal. Newbee now two kills up ahead of LGD, but still slightly behind in terms of gold. But they just keep picking on this bottom lane runs. They know that that's a good target point to go for. Constantly using the Weaver's Wall, constantly using Stand United as well as Swift's mobility on Hecarim. He's about to die to Gromp. Request some help from Dade. It's not going to be enough. So Gromp 1, Dade 0.
LGD still able to get this mid tower though. So question is now that Talia has starting to get shoved in, not a lot of safety for her to shove in her lane. Perhaps it's going to be a lot more difficult for Newbee to get their plan going and being able to constantly abuse this bottom lane. Remember, Otto is actually a player that gets Talia banned against him quite consistently. And the reason for it was just this, being able to force those early skirmishes. Really, LGD can't do much about it.
Newbee already always playing around the cooldowns. Weaver's Wall going to be back up shortly for Dade. So will the Stand United for V. LGD look like they want to try and get some vision over towards the Baron pit here, which is smart for them, seeing that they do have a Kha'Zix in this game. Will deal a lot of damage to these epic monsters, especially with the isolation that Kha'Zix provides. Pillar being put down there, spots out Moore and Swift, waiting in the wings, trying to get a gank on towards this bottom lane. Dade slowly rotating here, does have the Weaver's Wall up and available. Stand United's up as well. Teleport's coming in to try and protect this, but Imp's already dead to the curtain call. Teleport has to be cancelled, and Newbee just looked to immediately just backdoor this bottom lane outer turret.
Yeah, and down goes the tower. It's going to take some time. Fortification without the minions will mean that they'll have to tank a bit for it.
But still, Newbee again and again waiting for the ultimate cooldowns, then picking on the bottom lane, waiting for the ultimate cooldowns, picking on the bottom lane again.
Yeah.
They're still not quite in the lead here. They're still 1,500 gold behind, but if they keep this up, eventually, push comes to shove, LGD are going to drop gold and more gold and more gold.
Well, that's the whole point of the Talia pick, is to be able to find one lane and bully it. Because if you can get your mid lane shove, you're constantly going to be forcing people to either flash away from you, or because you can just repeat that once again. If they don't have flash anymore, you just head straight back to that lane and start to punish them. So now we're in a position where now you've done that towards LGD. Their bottom lane tower is down. You have to try and repeat that.
Well, actually getting jumped on here by Intruder. He's looking to try and go toe-to-toe against this Braum. Will force him to back out. Happy's now on the top side of the map. Seems like Newbee have swapped their focus away from the bottom lane, looking to try and pick up objectives elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, they're not going to find anything because there is no tower to pin them on, as LGD is going for this Baron.
They're looking to try and start this one off. They do have Intruder on Kazik, so they take down this Baron awfully fast. Already at half health. Finally, a wall gets put down. There are pings coming out to try and stop this one. Moore's rotating around the backside of this pit. Immediately, LGD try to peel off Baron because Marin's taken so much health and damage. Here comes Dade as well as the curtain call. PYL has to get the heck out of there. So does the rest of LGD. Newbee only able to successfully stop them from taking the Baron, though.
Yeah, just able to push them off. Honestly, surprised we didn't get a kill from any of them. PYL did have to flash, so that's going to be another focus. If Newbee do end up, of course, they're going to be looking to get this tower. They can constantly look to get these skirmishes. And of course, if LGD are losing flash
Teleport though, Raz. They're looking for a flank at the top lane.
Go.
Happy and Moore have to be very careful. Wayless is coming in for this one, immediately trying to be a little bit cautious. There goes the Dust Player Dragstar. Wayless might be regretting his decision at the moment. Swift though takes a lot of damage coming out from Intruder. PY on him, trying to hold their ground, but there's Dade. Good Weaver's Wall cuts off LGD. Newbee are two steps ahead of LGD at the moment because PYL's been locked down for the triple kill that comes out for Happy, and now they are the ones with their eyes set towards Baron.
Why would you take that fight? As I was trying to explain, LGD do not have flash. They could not take PYL did not have flash, so they had to be confident that they had the numbers. They didn't.
Intruder's looking to see if he can go for the steal here. Multiple members of Newbee are low, but he's got no backup. Marin slowly crossing down towards this pit. Does have Dominus available, deciding not to go in. It's down to 1,000 health. Newbee will be able to secure this Baron for themselves. And now they're the ones that are firmly in this league. 2,000 gold up, and they have Baron buff, Raz.
Yeah, and honestly, now at this point, LGD have to be asking themselves what they have to do to get themselves back in this game. We talk about the 6-item lead for the 6-item win condition for Imp. Perhaps we're going to need that again because Marin, once he gets his items, he does have a Yomu's Ghostblade on top of his Spirit Visage. Sure, he's going to be able to do a lot of damage if he's ever left alone in that dark alley with Dade or Happy. But he always has his friends. They're grouping up. And so what are you going to do against a grouped up team? You don't have an answer.
It's now 14 to 8 turns of kills. Newbee have executed on their team comp flawlessly time and time again. There's a reason why Talia has been banned out against Dade a couple of times during this series. And he's showing why in this match. Look at the gold swing. LGD were in control for most of this game, even with Newbee throwing the battering ram into the bottom lane, taking down Imp and PYL over and over again. They're still able to hold on, but that one play, the teleport into the back lines from Wayless, where he knew as soon as he got in there he was going to die, was where things started to turn around. And Newbee, they've put their foot onto the gas pedal and they're not letting go anytime soon.
Yeah, it really just comes back to the fact that even though the kills were even, right? Even though Newbee were able to get those perfect ganks going for them.
And Happy 7-1-3. Dustplayer Dragstar looking for his crit item next. On top of that, Newbee have taken down the second Infernal Dragon of this game. And it's going to be a Cloud Dragon that spawns next. So this time around will be Earth, Wind, and Fire. And they're looking for a fight. Swift trying to chase on towards Wayless. They do have a teleport into the back lines coming out from Marin. He's trying to get a flank around Newbee. Goes for the Dominus over the wall. He's on top of Happy. Already got half his health down. Has to run away though because there's going to be the concussive blows that locks him down. But Imp's already dead. Double kill comes out for Swift. He's going to be looking for another, but Happy, he's able to take down Marin. PYL's the next target. Uses the subjugate to try and keep himself alive. Intruder goes toe-to-toe. Will shut down Swift, but it's going to be too little too late because there's Dade. Will get jumped down. Double lead comes out, flashes away, but it's not been enough because the Deadly Flourish gets the ace for Happy and the rest of Newbee.
Intruder was able to pick up 2 kills, but that was legitimately a clean ace otherwise. Now Happy able to, even though he got jumped on by Renekton, remember, Renekton, it comes back to the point where Newbee are a 5-man unit. They will be able to repel your dive onto Happy. So once Happy was able to live out the initial burst from Renekton, he just got pushed out and completely torn apart.
Certainly did. Mario was looking to try and jump on top of the 80 carry for Newbee. Do not just take him down immediately, but the rest of the team just assisted him nicely doing that fight. And Intruder did get the late 2 kills, but that's just consolation prizes for LGD.
Yeah, that comes back to the strength of Renekton, though. Renekton is supposed to be a champion that he can take that early lead, but he didn't get an early lead. And so now it's like, okay, what can you do at this point? He tried to be able to jump onto that back line, but his backline is always supported by the rest of the team, including the lockdown from Shen. There's really not much he can do.
Now they have to try and run away because Newbee have pulled the trigger again. PYL's the first target. The Weaver's Wall cuts him off. He's got nowhere to go. He's stuck there, and V will take him down. Wayless gets seismic shoved back into the team. Intruder just can't find an opening to jump onto Newbee during this team fight. They brute force their way through the mid lane outer turret, looking for the mid lane inner turret next.
Yeah, they got one kill. They got a mid lane turret for it. Now in that Intruder, Marin, Wayless, and Imp do not have flash. Any fight that goes on forward will be in their court.
They do take down the turret and get one pick for themselves, and they settle with what they've already taken. 5,000 gold up. It's not a huge gold lead for Newbee, but they're definitely making the most of it here, Raz.
Exactly, and so this is going to be interesting. I was really surprised by the ability of Newbee to really come back and take some force after the second game. They're doing really well right now, and they're fighting for their life.
This is the promotion tournament of the LPL, so with this match, the winner is guaranteed a spot back into the LPL for Spring Split 2017. Best of 5 series tied up. We're looking to try and find the edge and go to match point for game number 3, or number 4, I should say. And Newbee putting on a good show and putting on a great fight so far. LGD, they're not out yet. 4,000 gold behind. They could definitely look to try and fight back. They have a ton of comfort champions in their lineup already. Guardian Angel has been picked up by Marin as well, even with a Yomu's Ghostblade on Renekton. That single damage item, as well as a couple of tanky items, is all that separates him from trying to take down Happy. He flashed on him that last team fight, but Happy has a Sterix gauge. He's going to be healing for, or get a big shield if Marin tries to take him down 100-0. It will be very difficult for him to single out the AD carry Mew because they've been peeling for him nicely in this match. Baron buff has finally worn out for Newbee, but Baron will be back up in a minute 30. The final inner turret for Newbee to take down is also on the top side of the map, which Happy, Moore, as well as Dade are congregating to. Swift will slowly move towards the top side of the map as well. V still has that stand united, so he can opt to split push if he chooses to do so.
Yeah.
And they look to brute force their way through this one. 4 members of Newbee charging on towards the top lane inner turret. That will fall with ease. Happy gets the final crit shot in towards it. Moore takes it down. And V actually just goes in there. A little bit questionable from him, but he's holding his own. He had the dodge foot up for some time. Pillar will separate him from the rest of the team, but Weaver's Wall now looking to cut off the rest of the team. Dade gets jumped on. He's going to get obliterated. Stand United keeping him alive. Intruder has fallen down. It's a 4-on-5. Mara tries to stay alive. Does have Guardian Angel. That will get popped as they keep chasing towards the Crocodile. Kurtakor comes out. He gets the heck out of the range. Lives to tell the tale, but they still lose their jungler in that trade.
Yeah, they got a 1-for-0. They thought they could get the Shen, but you know they're on the other side of that wall. You know that they're coming straight from that jungle to help out their buddy. It's a Shen. He is incredibly tanky, so they went for it. And remember, Talia, incredibly well played right now by Dade, able to just isolate Imp and PYL, not able to help it out. It turned into a 3v5.
Most importantly for LGD, they do lose their jungler, but they didn't lose the Guardian Angel for Marin. Still has that crucial item available for the next team fight if it does break out between Newbee and LGD. With that single pick though, as well as all the turrets that have fallen down recently, Newbee are now 6,000 gold in the lead ahead of LGD.
Yeah, I don't think the item right now is providing much safety for Marin. If you do have a lead, it's great for you. If you are in a deficit, especially if it is so easy to kill you, then it's not a good enough in terms of the stats. I would have rather seen Sunfire, Cape, anything much more tankier so he can actually be a frontline for his team. Because right now their win condition is going to be Imp and Intruder.
Got some call. Finds nobody, as Newbee decided to take down the Scuttle Crab instead. Happy, he's even picked up a Phantom Dancer here, Raz, so Marin is going to be dealing very little damage to this Jhin if he gets into the back lines. Newbee have already looked to try and start this Baron buff, trying to take it down as low as possible. Teleports are coming in for LGD. It's going to be Wayless getting into the back lines. Weaver's Wall cuts them off. This time around, they do have the flank. Intruder has a big shield, but he's the focus on the side of Newbee. Has to flash away. Marin's deep into the back lines. Happy Steric's Gage gets popped. PYL's the first casualty for LGD, and slowly Newbee are collapsing onto their team. Impspeed Seismic shoves back. He flashes away. He gets a kill to Dade. Gets the double kill. Lives to tell the tale.
Intruder!
They're trying to turn it around. Intruder's still alive somehow. Will be able to take down Swift as well. V's the last man standing for Newbee. He's still alive here. Wayless kites back and forth. Imp is joining the fight again. What the heck, LGD? They've been able to turn around this team fight and pick up so many kills against Newbee.
Intruder, LGD seems to be the comeback team here because that was an expert fight for them. Newbee took so much damage from the Baron, but specifically they could not pin down the fight. A Great Weaver's Wall came down from Dade to be able to just isolate the rest of LGD, but they couldn't pin anyone down.
And off to the back of that, LGD pushed down the mid lane, but take us through this one, Raz, because it really looked like Newbee were going to take this fight.
Yeah, they thought they had Intruder. Intruder was able to just barely survive. In the meantime, Marin, as we talked about, he just needed to be alone with Happy for just a moment. And then through and through, we just saw Wayless able to constantly put down his damage. And of course, just look at Imp here. The crits worked out for him, as you could tell. Able to go in and out, and Intruder able to come right back into the fight and help out the team to clean it up.
Those shields coming out from Karma are absolutely disgusting, keeping people alive with next to no health during these team fights.
Exactly.
Gold lead's still in Newbee's favor. They still are the ones that are looking to be the aggressors in this game. But that was a good team fight coming out from LGD to keep their hopes and dreams alive in game number 3. They're looking for another fight here. This time, Marin's going in aggressive. Still has his Guardian Angel. Will get popped by the concussive blows and does get locked down. Intruder's been jumped in. Seismic shoved back. He's exhausted on the hunt, trying to keep him safe as well as the shield that comes out. He's still alive. Swift goes down. LGD get the first kill in the fight. Dade's incredibly low. Imp is still chasing on forward, but Marin's in the back lines. He's taking down Dade. Newbee have to get the heck out there, but it's a big crocodile that's just chasing everybody down.
Focus.
Moore is dead. Happy is going to get taken down next. Gets stunned up by Marin. He just swings around in circles, putting on his best Garen impersonation. That's 4 members of Newbee dead, and LGD now look to push into the base of Newbee.
What a comeback coming in from LGD. It's incredible. I did not expect that coming from them. But it really just comes down to the fact that Intruder is playing his best bait impersonation, able to walk right in. You think he's almost dead, and Newbee is going straight towards the team to be able to finish up the fight for Karma's shield. Just baiting the entire team in, able to save Intruder and get the fight that they want.
V trying to pull minions away from the mid lane to stall time for the rest of Newbee. LGD, they've got other things on their mind as they head straight towards the Baron Pit. They want to pick up this major objective. Dade and Happy have yet to respawn. Swift, V, and more are up and available, but they've got other things on their mind. They need to defend their base here, Raz. Baron will be taken down by LGD. 2 back-to-back clutch team fights puts LGD back into the game, and they now have Baron buff as well as the gold lead.
Yeah, Newbee once again flopping with their advantage. Their lead going down to nothing. They have such a good kiteback comp. They have such a good dive as well. They have so much working for them. The problem is that they are just not, as a team, not getting it together.
Consolation prize for Newbee. They pick up the Cloud Dragon for themselves, but they've still got 2 Infernal Dragons going into the late game. Those extra stats are going to matter so much for Newbee, especially because this game is so close. The question now really is, what are Newbee going to be able to do against a Baroned up LGD who look incredibly strong? Just take a look at Imp's items. He's 1 item away from 6 items on Sivir. Has the Static Shiv, got the Infinity Edge down as well. He has that 70% crit chance. We saw how important the crit was in that second last team fight to take down Dade and get the double kill onto Moore as well. And they're pushing for it, Raz. They've got a big minion wave on the top side of the map, so LGD working through the bottom side with the Baron buff. Trying to attack 2 lanes at once. They do have the mid lane inhibitor down. Marin's still trying to threaten in that position too. This bottom lane inner turret is going to fall. LGD push it down with ease. And slowly Marin just trying to be a distraction in this mid lane. LGD looking to try and break the base against Newbee again, pushing towards his turret. That's an Ohm Wrecker being picked up by LGD to deny some of that turret damage during this fight. As that turret's getting taken down incredibly low. PYL puts down the pillar to separate the team. The turret has fallen. LGD are into Newbee's base again. The inhibitor is going to go down next. They push on towards the Nexus. But like I said earlier, they've got a big minion wave on the top side of the map, Raz. All they have to do is rotate over and take down even more turrets with this Baron buff.
Exactly, and LGD is a team that if they smell blood, they'll be able to go straight for the fight. So you have to believe with this massive wave crashing in, half the wave decide to just group up on one minion.
There's one guy that's just standing and fighting, trying to keep Newbee in this game. That one minion trying to do what he can. Swift is going in. A big seismic shell comes out onto Mara and V's in the back line. He's getting obliterated though. Intruder's gone invisible. Let's see if he can hop around and play hopscotch. He's got one. Imp gets the second kill. 2 kills for Imp. He gets the double. Intruder's leaping around the rift. He's picked up a kill for himself as well. Guardian Angel gets popped. LGD turn onto Swift for the triple kill for Imp. There goes Intruder for the double. It's a full house for LGD as they pick up 5 kills and the ace. 5 members left alive. They turn this game around, Raz, and they're now 2-1. We're going to go into game number 4 between LGD and Newbee.
Yeah, it's definitely going to game 4. The comeback coming from LGD was really strong. When they have the team fight comp, they can look to outplay, and they have.
They certainly have. That was a fantastic start for Newbee as well. They look so strong. And it was just 2 back-to-back team fights that LGD pulled out ahead of decisively, gives them the victory, and now they're at match point to try and fight their way back into 2017 spring split of the LPL.
I mean, it's a bit heartbreaking for Newbee because they had the win. They're going for that Baron fight. That could have easily been a win for them. They get that Baron, they get that fight. That's their win. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way the moment they lost that team fight. It definitely went into LGD's court.
And I really feel this time around, something has to be done about Wayless's karma because every single time someone was on less than 10 health, Wayless's karma showed up. Maybe not in this team fight, that's a bad example. But every single time he was on less than 10 health, Wayless's karma showed up, got them back healthy with Athene's on Holy Grail. The shields were absolutely disgusting and just kept people in fights when they should have been dead.
Exactly, and it really felt like a highlight reel 75% of this game for Dade because Dade's Weaver's Wall did really mean the world to them. And in this team fight as well, it was Marn going in but immediately going out. And just the cleanup coming from Jin and that Weaver's Wall all the same meant so much. They were able to get the rest of this team, rest of LGD falling down.
This is where Newbee looked like they're going to try to close out the game. Intruder gets 2 consolation kills here, but that's it. It was a 5-for-2 trade at the end of this fight. And it looked like it was Newbee's game to win.
It really did, and I think this is the major point here where, I think this is the second point.
This was the second fight where Intruder just jumps into backlines, almost gets killed to start things off, but here comes Wayless. You're alive, buddy. You're full health. Swift, what are you doing? That's a shield that you're going up against, not a low health Intruder.
Yeah, first of all, when he had barely any HP to him, we see the exhaust coming down to him. He's not going to be doing any harm, especially since he's running away, so the exhaust was wasted. And on top of that, we saw the dive coming in when we already saw the shield getting chipped down. That was just Swift going way too far forward at that point.
This was the final team fight where they tried to do what they can to go big side with shove to start things off. But the front line just gets obliterated by that Sivir as well as Intruder, kiting back and forth, making sure Imp stays alive. And then it was just the 1-2 combo of Intruder jumping around the map as well as on the hunt, getting Sivir into position. LGD had a fantastic game to come back in game number 3.
Exactly. They just had a composition that once they got that lead going for them, they have a lot of consistent damage, a lot of snowball effects afterwards. And so once they got the team fight, it just went to kill, to kill, to kill. It just went out of hand.
And off of the back of that game, LGD are now at match point against Newbee. We have that 4th game coming up in just a bit, so don't go anywhere.